Hello, I'm Eileen Roach, co-founder of Dime, and I'm thrilled that you're joining me today for this episode of Between Friends. This is the kickoff to the Ugly Sweater Stitch Off, and I'm so excited. We've actually never really done something like this here at Between Friends, so this should be a lot of fun. What's it going to entail? Well, today you're going to receive, if you go to our website to download our free designs in the On the House program, you'll receive an ugly sweater that is plain. It's just an applique design. And then you'll have some embellishments to download. And through the month, you're going to have different embellishments that you can make multiple ugly sweaters. And then on the last of the month here on Between Friends, we're going to put it all together into a project. And of course, I can't wait to see what ideas you come up with. Like someone in the comment already said, wouldn't it make a great ornament on a tree? And it most certainly would. So let's go ahead and take a look at the program that I use to make these all come together. And that's our Embroidery Toolshed Plus. Now, you can use Embroidery Toolshed, the free program, but if you have the Plus, or if you have any of our other Dime software programs, then you're going to be able to do a little bit more embellishing, a little bit more customization than you would in just the Embroidery Toolshed. And Embroidery Toolshed Plus is the sponsor of today's show. So let's take a moment and learn a little bit about that. You know, there's so many fun features in the Embroidery Toolshed Plus, but probably my favorite is that sending wirelessly over to the Baby Lock and Brother machines that have wireless capability. Oh my, that's great. You know, so many of you are piping in. They're from all over the country. I love seeing that. It seems like there's really warm weather on the East Coast in the Virginia area. Our friend up there at Creative Applique is saying it's in the 70s. And yet somebody's got tea going on and a cup of hot tea because it's, you know, snowing where she is. I think it's in Colorado. You never know. But it is sweater time here in Dallas. And if it isn't cold enough to wear one, then we're going to decorate one. So let's go ahead to the overhead cam and take a look at the sweaters that we're going to talk about today. So here we have, these are the designs that you're going to receive today. And I just want to explain. So the sweater is one design. the wide chevron, and actually the name of it is Chev Wide, short for chevron wide. And then the third design is this chevron chest. And then lastly, you'll have a single chevron that will be for embellishing the sleeves. And you have options to do this in software, or you can do it at your machine if you're familiar with navigating and editing on your machine. But I'm going to show you how to do it in our software because it's so easy. So first we'll take a look at this sweater, and then we'll move over to the star, and then finally ho, ho, ho. So let's go ahead and take a look. So in Embroidery Toolshed Plus, I'm going to play this video, but I'm going to voice over it because it's not live. So I start with my sweater, right? Now, I had said that this is an applique. Let me back up a little bit. It's not a traditional applique in the sense that it has a placement guide and a tack down. It doesn't. It's only an E-stitch. So there's a PDF instruction sheet that comes with your download, and in it, it says hoop red felt only. And you'll do that. You'll stitch your sweater, your outline on the red felt. And then when it's time to stitch the embellishments, you're just going to slide a piece of stabilizer underneath that hoop. And why is that? Well, we don't want any stabilizer to be visible once you cut out the sweater. So this allows you to use a tearaway and cleanly tear it away and not have to worry about distorting those attractive E-stitches that are the outline. Okay, so the order that you bring in the extra embellishments is important because you want to make sure they are placed on top of the sweater, right? If you bring them in first and the sweater on top, well, you're never going to see them when you actually come to the stitching part. So let's start with our sweater. And I have opened up all three programs. Now this is the wide chev. And with it selected, I can click on the copy icon, go back to the sweater, and drop it in place. Now, theoretically, it'll land right where you want it, but if not, you'll just reposition it. I have a little trick for you here. Well, I think eventually. You will now select the chevron chest because it's a little narrower. It's not going all the way across the shoulders. It's just going across the chest. And you'll use the copy and paste icons that are on, the top of the toolbar, or you can use your keyboard strokes. I like to hold down the Control key and hit C as in copy, and then V, holding down the Control key to paste. So I've added another one, and I'll add a third one down near the hem. You can select each one and right-click on a color chip to change the color of your stripes if you'd like. And then lastly, so I'm going to select those three chevrons and then click on the distribute equally icon. I love that icon. If you don't have super artistic skills like I don't, I depend on a lot of these alignment tools. They're really helpful. Now, let's get that sleeve decorated. So this is the chev sleeve design. And it's just a single chevron, so you'll copy and paste that. And then you're going to drag it over to the sleeve. And, take a little time to fine tune it. This is when you can use your magnifying tools, and there's different ways to access that in the software. There's a little magnifying tool on the left toolbar, or you can hold down the Control key and rotate the wheel on your mouse forward to zoom into an area. And just take your time to position them exactly where you want them. Right now, I'm copying and pasting and making two chevrons. And of course, they're all still individual designs, so I don't have to worry about them, moving as one unit. Okay, so it's as easy as that. Now, you can take the time to change the color if you like. You can use the colored, you can send it wirelessly to your machine just by clicking that icon, and then there you go, you have it. So let's go ahead over and take a closer look at that sweater in person so you can take a look at it. Now, you see there's no stabilizer extending beyond that outline. And when I flip it over, you'll see that I was able to cleanly tear away all of my tear away. Well, we really don't want to use a cutaway or anything in that fashion because you don't want that white stuff extending beyond the edge of our sweater. Now, again, I I cut this out manually because I stitch it in my hoop. Here, I'll show you. I stitch it in the hoop, and I think I showed you last week that I have like a big piece of felt here, but I just hoop the corner so that I can leave room on this felt for additional sweaters as time goes on. And I stitch color one, which is that E stitch. Remember, no placement guide, no tack down. That's all you're going to have. And then I would slide a piece of tearaway stabilizer underneath the hoop to stitch the embellishments. And often that's referred to as floating stabilizer, which frankly I think is kind of funny because it's underneath the hoop. It's not floating on top, but it's a common term. That's what it's referred to. And we'll do that when we slide it under, then we'll stitch the embellishments and it will stitch nice and cleanly. So it's pretty fun, right? Okay, next up is this star. Now, I want to show you these little elements are from an embroidery collection that I own, and maybe you do too. It's our holiday charm collection. And I just want to show you how an embroidery tool shed plus you can access collections that you have and pull out elements to kind of steal from other designs and use to embellish this sweater. So let's go over and take a look. Okay, so Anita Jackson, you says, are you tacking or taping on? I'm not taping or tacking anything on in this embroidery process. So maybe clarify your question if I'm not explaining that properly. And Donna Barshiger, you say you still argue that all of your old Christmas sweaters are not ugly. Yeah, I know, but it's very humbling when your adult children come into your home and say, "Hey, do you still have your old Christmas sweaters? Because I have a party coming up that I want to wear it to," and that was an ugly sweater invitation, right? Oh my. Oh, there's some friends here saying it was great meeting you at Houston Quilt Festival. That was last week. We had a blast. Thank you so much for stopping by the booth. Everybody who came by, it was fun. Absolutely. We just had a great time. Okay. Yeah. And then Anita Jackson, she says you would definitely save after creating. Oh, absolutely. I did omit that step in that video, so I apologize for that. But yeah, you definitely, after you do all that work, you want to save it and save it under a new name, right? Because you worked in the sweater file, and that's the name of it, the sweater. And so you want to save it as like sweater 1 or sweater 2 or sweater chev, like for chevron, something like that, that you'll be able to refer to later on. Okay, let's see what else. What other questions we have? Yep, Retha Ranke, she stopped by. I met her a couple years ago at Houston Quilt Festival. You're here every week, Retha. Thanks so much for joining us. And I know you're still in Texas. You're enjoying our warm weather down here, I'm sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next video, which is the star. Okay, so again, I'm going to just kind of walk through these steps in Embroidery Tool Shed Plus. Our Embroidery Tool Shed Plus has 13 different fonts in it. It gives you the ability to merge designs, to group, ungroup, to change colors, to print a template, lots of features. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now in the library, I'm accessing my holiday charms. And we have a Christmas tree there that, maybe would look okay, right? But the problem with that is it's a lace design. And I didn't think a lace tree would look attractive on red felt. So I'm just going to pull elements of it out of the tree. So I'm going to move it aside. Well, first, I like to copy and paste it so I have it on the workspace in case I want to refer to it later. And then I ungroup it. And I'm going to remove the tree. And look what I'm doing there now. I just clicked on that little padlock next to the red sweater. And what that does is it locks the sweater. So I can't move the sweater at all. So now I can play on top of the sweater, moving designs in and out, changing all kinds of things on top of that sweater, but the sweater won't move. So that's a great tip for you to use in your software, that padlock. All right, so now I'm removing the garland, and we don't need all of the well, I want to move the star. I'm going to put that down by the hem, and then I'm going to remove some of those bulbs because we don't need them all. So one by one, I'll kind of select them and get rid of the ones that I don't want. I'll keep those 3 that are still there. Now I'm going to group each of those individually so that all of the pieces of each bulb stay together, but now I can move them independently. So now I'm going to just decorate the neckline, right? Take a moment to use my rotation tools and place them, kind of in a symmetrical fashion around the neckline. It looks a little small, so I'll enlarge it and then probably have to make some changes again. Just for the positioning. These are so fun. Oh my goodness, and they stitch so quick. You're going to have a blast doing this. And, the virtual stitching is fun too when you're just in the software designing. So now we have our star at the bottom, and I'm going to copy and paste that. Put one in the center of the sweater. Now I'm going to make a border on the bottom. And, so I copy the first one, then I copy the next 2. And then I'll do paste again, and now I have 6. Well, I don't really like even numbers on a border, so I'm going to remove that last one, get rid of that, and move, make sure they're all a little bit larger, not too big, because we want to remember our scale, right? It's a small sweater. We want to keep our scale proper. And then I'm going to use that distribute horizontally tool to make sure they're evenly spaced, which is just great. And we can align the bottom. Now that star in the center, we're going to blow him up. And look at that. Is that great? I know. It's so much fun. Now maybe we want to change some colors. So that red ball in the center at the neckline is not going to be very visible on the red. So I ungrouped that and selected just the red Christmas ball and changed that to gold also. And so now, last thing we want to do is get rid of the tree. I'm going to send that over to my machine. And here, I'll pause this so we can answer that question. And let's see, GB William, you want to know what is the, what is the name of those mini charms? Well, that's our holiday lace charm collection. So it's available for download. You can download it now, purchase it, download it now, and be stitching in any minute. But yeah, it has tons of tiny little embellishments in it that are really, really fun. Yeah. Okay. So I think that video was just starting up again. But all right, so let's go over and take a quick look at that a little closer so that you can see how that worked out, right? So those little Christmas lights are aligned right at the neckline. Because I could zoom in, I could make sure that the little hanging portion of the Christmas light was right at that E-stitch, and they're equally distributed across the neckline. There's that border, a star border at the bottom, and then of course our big star. So much fun to stitch these, and literally this whole thing stitches in about 8 minutes. It's so fast. Just a couple of thread changes, not that big a deal. All right, so the next one is Ho Ho Ho. And this is one that if you have Embroidery Toolshed, you can do today in Embroidery Toolshed Plus, because it comes with 13 different fonts. So let's take a look how we make this happen on Ho Ho Ho. All right. Okay, let's see. Where's this? Ho Ho Ho. Okay. Oh, are we already playing it? Okay. All right. So we're going to start with our sweater. We're going to bring in the chevron, the single chevron sleeve. So we decorate the sleeve, same thing that you saw in the first video when we were adding chevrons to the entire garment. So now I have 2 on the left sleeve, and I'm going to copy and paste both of them and move them over to the other sleeve, right? And when I do that, can use that mirror image icon to just make sure that they can't in this opposite direction of the other sleeve. It'll take a moment to do some fine tuning and get them in position. Now I'm going to select a font, And in this case, I'm going to choose the, I guess I'm sticking with the Arial. So I will type in ho, 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 and put them all together. There we go. Now, they're a little big for the sweater, so I can select them all. I'm going to change the line spacing. And just put a little space in between each other, and then I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. I have the select tool selected, and we'll center it. And now back to the text tool, and now I'm going to just select the letter H, and I can make changes to just that letter. And I could do the same thing for any of the other, O's, right? But you can make these kerning changes, these character changes so simply in Embroidery Toolshed Plus. And then I'll select all of those letters and turn them into white. And, maybe we do the same thing with the sleeve or not. Remember, it's an ugly sweater, so it's your choice, however you want to decorate it. But isn't that fun? I just think that's adorable. Yep, and let's see, Callie Hernandez, she's talking about, where did she go? Let's see. Okay, let's pause that for a second and answer Callie. So she thinks they're so cute. She likes seeing this sweater, makes you think about another idea that's all over these days, bows on the side of adult t-shirts and sweatshirts. You're right. Oh, Callie, I did that like in 2014. I have a whole collection out that had embellishment on the hip, on the waist, I guess you would say, of a t-shirt. And well, I did it in a different fashion with mainly floral and geometric designs, but now we're seeing it with applique, and it's a whole lot of fun. So I encourage you to get in, jump in and play with that and see how much fun you have with it. Okay, so let's go back to the video and I'll see where we were. I'll just back up a little bit because I think we were saving. Let's see. Okay. So we finished putting those chevrons in place, changing the colors if we'd like, and just making it yours, right? This whole sweater stitch off, the ugly sweater stitch off, is to customize these sweaters for your liking or your disliking if it's an ugly sweater, right? So I can send it wirelessly to my machine, or you can save it in any embroidery format if you don't have the wireless capability of a Baby Locker Brother machine. So isn't that fun? Oh my goodness. I just love that little sweatshirt, or sweater. I think I would like to wear one. I think if it was large, I would enjoy wearing it. So next week, we're going to have a guest here and so forth. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's coming up next. We have the only way you're going to find out what's coming up is to subscribe to our YouTube channel or like us on Facebook, and then you'll be notified as to what's happening. And next, November 19th, so that's the first and third Tuesdays of the month, right? That's when Ashley Joan hosts her Software Success series, and she'll be back. She just did one this week, so she'll be back on the 19th to do another Software Success. But she's going to be here next week on the 14th with a special guest, and they got a really fun topic. I believe it's titled Busting Canvas. So Stephanie from Caesar is going to be joining Ashley, and I hope that you'll join both of those ladies for a great session next week. So the On the House design this week, now I want you to remember they're free all year, all of these designs. They have been up there all year, but at the end of 2024, we're going to remove them. So we encourage you every week to be downloading the free design. So today, when you download it, you're going to get 4 designs. You're going to be getting the sweater, the wide chevron, the chest chevron, and the sleeve chevron, and a set of instructions that will walk you through everything I just showed you, and also the hooping process and so forth. So you'll see when you download it, that's what'll be there. But in the meantime, we love seeing what you stitch. And the whole idea of this stitch off is for you to share your sweaters. So please do that once you get stitching. This week, we have some beautiful examples of what you've been stitching. So let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, such great examples of all your work. I hope that you'll continue to post. We just love it. Just love it. So we do have some questions. Let's see. Gail K, she has PEP. PEP is our Perfect Embroidery Pro full digitizing software. Then you do not need Embroidery Toolshed Plus, Gail, because you have all the tools and features already in PEP. Okay, and so let's see. Catherine, you have a question. The question, purchase Embroidery Toolshed Plus. No, because I have my quilt embellisher, my lace maker. Yeah, you don't need to purchase, Catherine, you don't need to purchase Embroidery Toolshed Plus. Just like Gail, you have all of those features. And let's see, we will eventually add the Wi-Fi capability for Bernina. The new 990 can accept designs that way. Thank you for that suggestion. We appreciate that. And we'll start looking into that capability. Those kind of changes take quite a lot of development, so don't look for that anytime soon, but we will definitely get started on that. And let's see, Audrey, you say that you love the way people think to customize the free designs into something even better. Absolutely. I mean, that's our whole mission here, is to encourage people to, spice up their creativity by using the free designs and using, the features and software that really let you do all of these interesting and creative things. It's so much fun. Absolutely. So, as you know, the free design, now this image here shows all of it together, right? But in reality, it's 4 different designs. So it will be a zip file. And when you are in our Dime software, we would encourage you to use the C2S files when you are doing all of your editing, like you're going to do on the ugly sweaters. That way, you have complete freedom as how much you can resize and manipulate the designs. You can do it on machine formats, but truth be told, it's always best to use the native software format, and that's C2S in our software. So definitely. So let's see, Cynthia Farris says, what do you do to the back of the sweater? Well, right now, we're not doing anything to the back of the sweater because our final intention on using these sweaters is to use them in a way that the back is not visible. Now, if you wanted to add make it visible or look perfect on both sides, then after you do all of your embellishing, you could slide another piece of red felt underneath. And we'll look at that in an upcoming Between Friends so that we can tackle that together. But, it's just a Christmas ornament, right? You're not going to wear it to a ball. So, yeah, Anne Philbeck says like an applique on a quilt, or maybe something freestanding on something that the back is still not going to be visible. So anyway, you never know. So we can't wait to see what you're stitching. Please join us in this ugly sweater stitch off and post your sweaters, ugly or not, on social media. We can't wait to see what you do with these designs. Bye for now, and we'll see you. I'll be back in a couple weeks. Ashley will be here next week.